probably set these big, grand, audacious, hairy, scary goals for this year. And some of them might be the same goals that you set this time last year. And so we wanted to have this conversation around what could possibly be keeping you stuck. And I think, also a couple of these things might be a little shocking. It might not be the first things that come to your mind. So I'm excited for you guys to hopefully at the end of this episode have a couple of applications, a couple of things to take away and act on and implement that are going to make a huge difference. And you're going to look back a year from now and say, I am so glad I took action on these 3 things. Welcome to the Kingdom Minded Mompreneur, where we, Becky
and Monique, your new biz besties, both busy moms just like you.
We're here to talk all things network marketing, mom life, and how to truly live out your calling. We'll be dropping 2 episodes each week to help you, the busy mompreneur, know the exact strategies to build both your business and your home. You'll hear each week from one of the top network marketers on their best tips for what's led to their success and what's working now.
We know that you're here because you are called to something more. You have a desire to succeed in both your business and at home, and we are going to teach you how. If you love what you hear here on the podcast and want to be one of our success stories, join us inside our community, the Kingdom Minded Mompreneur, where we provide a daily social media action plan, additional resources, kingdom coaching, and more. Click the show notes for the link to join. So let's get into the episode.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to another podcast episode. It's Becky here and Monique.
Hey, Becky, how are you?
Hey, I'm excited about this conversation today because some of you guys listening to this might be feeling like you are in the same place. Maybe, currently while we are recording this, it is early in 2024 and you've probably set these big, grand, audacious, hairy, scary goals for this year. And some of them might be the same goals that you set this time last year. And so we wanted to have this conversation around what could possibly be keeping you stuck. And I think, also a couple of these things might be a little shocking. It might not be the first things that come to your mind. So I'm excited for you guys to hopefully at the end of this episode have a couple of applications, a couple of things to take away and act on and implement that are going to make a huge difference. And you're going to look back a year from now and say, I am so glad I took action on these 3 things. So
Yes.
let's jump in.
So good. Okay. So before we jump in, as you were describing that, Becky, it just made me think of the Israelites. And you guys might be able to relate to this, but there's a story in Deuteronomy where it talks about how the Israelites were going on this journey and it was supposed to take them 11 days. Like it was actually 11 days worth of walking, and it took them 40 years. And there's a verse that talks about when God tells them, you have journeyed around this mountain long enough, now go north. Like he literally gives them instruction. He's like, okay, you guys are literally circling around the same mountain over and over and over again. Just go north, like go this direction. And I think, how much is that how we act too? Like we are the same way, where we might be circling around the same mountain, or we may have the same goals and the same thing that we're working towards. And what we're going to be talking about today is basically someone saying like, okay, here are
Just go north. Yeah.
Yes, just go north. Like here are the things that you need to be doing. So let's should we give them all at once, or should we make you guys wait? Okay, we're going to make you guys wait.
I think we should wait. Yeah. Make them wait.
Okay. So the very first one is the number one thing we think is holding you back is your health. Okay. So don't come at us. Don't send us an email. Don't send us a DM about how this doesn't apply to you. Okay. But we really want to challenge you to think about the fact that your health affects your business. And if you're not prioritizing your health, we're not talking about you need to go out and get a six pack and be able to run a marathon. Like, that's not what we're saying. But we are saying that your business is you. Like, you are your business. And if you're not healthy, if you're not present, if you're not energized, that is going to directly affect your business. Even thinking about, like, right now, Becky's coming off of being sick for the last,
Yes.
and even thinking about, like, anytime, someone gets sick, like, that affects your business. Like, you're not able to show up, you're not able to be present, you're not able to go on social media, right? And so your health has a direct connection with the success of your business.
Well, and the term wealth means well-being. And so a lot of people, I think, they hear this and think of this concept of wealth. Oh, wealthy people are people who are they have a state of being that is like well. And the reason why I like that, I kind of that reminder is because if you think about the areas of your life that you want to be healthy, right? Like you want financial health, right? So that you can retire when you want to retire and have access to things you want to have access to. You want your mental state to be healthy, right? So that you can think clearly. I don't know how many of you guys, I know Monique and I have talked about this numerous times after having COVID, right? It was like that brain fog and that frustration of, okay, why is this word not coming to me? And you want clarity, you want to think clearly. And that everyone says there's all these studies, I couldn't quote any of them right now, but about like if you don't get enough sleep and you're acting and driving while you're like way too tired, it's as if you're like driving drunk, right?
Yeah.
So think about if you're not prioritizing your health, you're not, getting enough sleep and being disciplined to turn off Netflix, quit scrolling your phone, quit, just eating whatever you want to eat, like 17,000 carbs in a day, and instead say, okay, I might have a little pasta, but I'm going to have it for dinner. I'm not going to eat a huge bowl of pasta at lunch because I know I've got other things I need to do in the afternoon. And I think just, it has nothing to do with like the size of your jeans or the weight on the scale, but it does have to do with how you feel. And I can just speak for myself. I at I wouldn't say at the height of my career, but pretty much when I was incredibly successful in the industry, I had sacrificed my health because I seriously thought that I had to put that on the shelf. I had to, you know, sacrifice working out, taking care of myself in order to have success. And as a result, I gained, you guys, it's insane how much weight I have lost. I have already lost almost 40 pounds as since this time when I was like insanely successful, or over 40 pounds at this point. I've lost over 40 pounds. And I was so exhausted, you guys. I barely had it. Basically, I had the energy to do my work, and that was it. I was so exhausted when I was done working. I didn't want to spend any time with my family because I was so tired and drained and burnt out. And that wasn't even why I started my business in the first place, right? Like I started my business so that I could have time with at the time, she was a 1 year old, right? And now my oldest, now I have two girls. But my point is, I want to have energy to, chase after my dreams, but also for, to foster and nurture relationships with my girls and pursue other hobbies and, be able to have the energy to do more things. And, when I look back on the health of my business at that time, it started to decline because I was so tired. I was like, quote unquote, I was telling everybody I was burnt out. And but I was burnt out because I was not taking care of my health, right? I
Yeah.
wasn't making it a
Well,
priority.
and I think people might initially think, like, if you don't already have healthy habits, you might think that healthy habits are going to be really hard. But I would argue that you could very easily create habits that aren't going to take a ton of time. Like if you say, let's say you don't exercise at all. If you say, all right, I'm just going to start with a 20-minute walk, and you just walk around your neighborhood for 20 minutes just to get your body moving. Or it could be that normally you stay up watching Netflix and you're like, all right, I'm going to go to bed by whatever time. Like you give
Yeah, and
yourself,
just set an alarm on your phone. It doesn't have to be like, yeah, just
yeah,
like she said, simple habits.
simple habits, simple swaps. Like I know for me, when you were talking about the exhaustion, I am very, very well aware. Like I feel like I'm pretty in tune with when I eat certain foods. I know, okay, these foods make me tired versus these foods make me feel energized. And I know that if I eat something that's like a high carb lunch, I am going to want to take a nap after
Mm-hmm.
lunch. Like I'm going to be
Same.
tired. And so I just don't, I mean, I very rarely do that because I know, there's a lot of things that need to get done in the day and I don't have the capacity, I don't have the time to be tired. Like I don't have the time
Yeah.
to be tired. I don't want to feel that way. It doesn't matter how good, I don't know, my kids bring home pizza or something and I'm like, oh, that looks really good, but I know it's not worth it. I'm like, it is not
No.
how I'm going to feel afterwards. I don't want
Yeah.
to feel crummy. I don't want to feel tired. Like I'm very aware. And
And
so like,
even just drinking more water, you
yeah,
know?
but I think people might need to start listening to your body. Like listen to your body and notice, like, is this food making me tired? Is this food making me energized? And we're not over here trying to be, a dietitian or a trainer or anything like that. But I think just recognizing, like, are you eating things that are more processed or are you eating things that are, from the earth or from, health natural? And are they giving you energy? So recognizing that. And also I wanted to point out one thing that you mentioned about sleep. So I had worked with one of Brendan Burchard's coaches. I went through Brendan Burchard's coaching program back in, I think 2020, maybe 2020. And at the very beginning of our coaching, the person I was working with said, here are the requirements that Brendan has for when someone goes through his coaching program. And one of the requirements was you had to commit to sleep at least 7 hours a day. And, a lot of his coaching is based on data. And he was saying, like, he had all this kind of data about if you have less than 7 hours of sleep, it affects how you process, it affects your thinking, it affects your ability to be creative, like all of these different things that were affected by your sleep. And so it is a thing, like it is a real thing. If you are not sleeping enough and you're trying to figure out why am I not, able to be clear in my thinking or in how you're showing up, it might be because you're not getting enough sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. So the second thing that might be keeping you stuck are the opinions of others. Dun dun dun.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes. We're just gonna guess that probably, 90% of you, there's some here who are like Becky,
Like
who
me.
it rolls off. But then there's others of you who this is really, really holding you back. Like somebody may have said something in the past, someone might say something to you currently, and it may not even be that someone is saying things, but a lot of times we pick up on this from our clients is you project that other people have opinions that they have not even said. Like
Right.
there are times where you're like, I'm not even going to post that on social media because my Aunt Sue might think this and misunderstand what it is that I'm doing. Or I'm not going to reach out to this person to tell them about the business opportunity because they might think this about me. And that is holding you back. Like it is holding you back. And
Mm-hmm.
just want to be straight up here. Is I feel like a lot of times the opinions of other people are they are limited in their thinking. Okay. Just
Mm-hmm.
if we're speaking in general, like if you have ambitions and goals and aspirations and you are a high achiever, okay, your life is not going to look like everyone else's life. And so you might have friends who are not high achievers who might be like, well, who do you think you are? Or like, what are you doing? Or why are you not hanging out with us anymore? Or why are you, whatever. Like they might have things to say that are a reflection of where they are. And so don't allow that to bring you down. Like, don't allow that to limit you because if you know that you're going somewhere with your life, like there are things that you're just not going to be able to partake in anymore. There are things that you're not going to be able to allow to speak into your life And a lot of times it's the opinions of other people.
Yeah. And I mean, I think we have to remind ourselves, if you want to live like no one lives, you got to act and do things like no one does. And so, if sometimes, right, sometimes that means being misunderstood. Sometimes that means, going against the grain. Sometimes that means,
Being talked
you
about.
know, being talked about or being rejected. And the most successful people in life get there because they're willing to climb on top of all of those rejections, right? It's not because they, get one rejection and just lie down and say, well, I'm done. That was that. Or like she said, sometimes they subconsciously, and this might be you, telling yourself stories of the outcome, what potentially is going to happen. And that, whatever story you're telling yourself, that is going to become your reality. Because if you are telling yourself, well, no one wants to join me, this one person was so rude to me. And so I'm so afraid. And you might not even realize it, right? But you're just not acting on it. You're not sending any messages. You're not doing anything. You're not posting online consistently because you are so concerned about what other people think of you or your business. And that's ultimately going to determine your success. I mean, you're going to stay at that level.
Yeah, and we live into the stories we tell ourselves. And so you have to recognize, like, what is the story that you're telling yourself and how is that affecting you in your business? And so just think about that and how it applies to your life and be willing to let go of the opinions of others. Because if you can, I love, we had referenced Connie already in a previous episode, but we had Connie Sanchez on in episode 8, and she was talking about how she onboards people and the conversation that she has when she brings people onto her team. And she said one of the things she tells her team members is to anticipate other people's opinions and rejection and all those kinds of things, but keep moving forward. And I thought, man, that's so powerful
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
share that with your
She
team.
calls it discipline your disappointments. You know,
Yes.
so powerful.
Yes. And so recognize that this is part of, like, if you go into your business and you have the mindset of, I am going to get told no, I am going to get rejected, I am going to be misunderstood, I'm going to have to actually sit back and watch other people say things about me, believe things about me that may or may not be true. And I'm going to have to allow those things to happen. Like, it is a stepping stone. It's a prerequisite. It is a prerequisite to success. I even look at, like, our business, which is successful. I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Like, our business is successful. And so Becky and I have walked through those exact things. We have had situations where, we have both been in situations where we've been talked about. We've both been in situations where we've been rejected. We've both been in situations where we've been misunderstood, or we've, pivoted and had people have been opinionated, or, but it is a prerequisite to that next step.
Right. And I think too, not feeling the need to defend your reasons. Because that is just a waste of energy. Like, there are some people that you are just never going to convince. It does not matter how you say it. It does not matter what proof you have, what evidence. They're limited in their ignorance, and it is not going to matter. And so it's like, don't waste your energy defending that, and instead just prove it. Just do
Yeah.
the thing.
Well, and I think that also goes into, we should probably talk for a second about social media. And, you're going to also have times where people might comment on things. Just delete the comment.
Yeah.
Delete the comment.
Delete. Yeah.
Delete, block if you need to, and move on, because people get really hung up on, oh, this person said this one thing. I'm like, delete the comment. Like, if it's,
Right. Yeah.
if it's not in alignment with what you want, if it's not serving you, if you're a leader on a team and you have a team page and somebody comments something negative or brings any kind of negativity onto your team page, delete the comment and then have a private one-on-one conversation with that person.
Yes.
So
So the third thing that could be keeping you stuck are your daily habits. Ooh, I feel like, you guys, we could have this conversation every day. Like, daily habits. Oh man, this concept, of habits and man, just when you think about high performers and, Brendan Burchard comes to mind, his books and just his podcast and all of his wisdom and study. I mean, he has like, who knows how many hours of, studying like high performers and their habits, as well as, I mean, this concept is not new, right? But it is such a necessary conversation. I know, Monique, you are like one of the most disciplined people that I know. I would love to hear your perspective on what do you think people need to work on when it comes to their daily habits?
Well, I think you need to look at what you want out of your life and then reverse engineer that. So if you want to hit six figures, you say, okay, well, let me reverse engineer that. That's, a little over $8,000 a month. And then from there, like, what are the actions that you need to be doing? Like, if someone is making $8,000 a month, what are the actions that they need to be doing every single day? And I feel like that's how I have run my life in general. Like, I look at not only our business goals, but my personal goals, my physical goals, my relational goals. How do I want to show up as a mom? How do I want to be intentional with my kids? Like, I literally have, like, I will have times in my calendar that's like, okay, 30 minutes with this specific child. If I know, I want to build my relationship with that child right now, I have every day for 30 minutes, one specific child gets one-on-one attention with me. And so whatever those goals are, you reverse engineer. And here's the other thing, you have to remove the emotion, because my alarm goes off every night at 8 o'clock for me to stop and spend time with this kid. Do I always feel like it? No. But it's, you have to remove the emotion of, I'm tired, I don't feel like it, I don't want to do this. And just recognize that if that is the life that you want, okay, if this is the life that you want, and I'll just tell you, it's my oldest son and he's a senior. And I'm like, he has one more year. He has actually less than a year in our home.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, that's wild.
And so in those days that I'm like, I don't want to stop and
Right.
do this thing. And it's not because I don't love him. It's just because I'm tired some days.
Yeah, I mean, there's sometimes I don't want to hang out with my kids. I mean, that's real life.
Yeah, but the reality is what I ultimately want is a good relationship with my child and to have
Yes.
connection and to pour into him during that time. And so if that is
Yes.
what I've told myself that I ultimately want, then what are those daily actions? The same thing with exercise. Like, I don't let myself, you and I both, you're very disciplined. You say that, I appreciate your kind words, but Becky, you're disciplined too. And we both get up and walk every day. It doesn't matter if we're freezing, if it's cold outside or whatever. If it's raining outside, you just put on your rain jacket and you go, you do the thing.
Right.
We both have done 75 hard, that takes discipline. But I think you have to remove the emotion. And here's the other thing I will say too, is discipline is not you're not born with the trait of discipline, because I don't feel like I don't feel like I used to be disciplined, but I will say that being married to Matt, he is the most disciplined person that I know, my husband. And I think just living with him and seeing years and years and years of, if he says he's going to do something, he does it. There's no wavering. There's no, I don't feel like it. I'm not tired. I don't, whatever. Like, it is, if he says he's going to do something, he does
And
it.
I don't know about y'all, but I want people to describe me that way, right? Like, I want people to be like, if she says something is true, that, or she says she's going to do something, she's going to do it.
Yeah. Well, and I even remember early on in our marriage, so funny. Early on in our marriage, I remember, I was probably, I don't even know, like 23 maybe. And I had told some friends I was gonna meet them that evening. And then I just didn't feel like it after work. And I had told Matt, I was like, I think I'm gonna cancel. I don't really feel like. He's like, well, you told your friends you're gonna be there. And I was like, yeah, but they'll understand. And he's like, no, you told them, like, you show up. And I just remember that standing out to me, because I got away with that for, as a teenager throughout college. And then here I am, married to him, and he's so disciplined that it was like, I think that also, this is a whole other conversation, but I think it also is a reflection of the people you surround yourself with will either call you higher or pull you down. And I think if you're putting yourself around people who they are disciplined and they have goals and they're ambitious, you're not going to sit around because you're like, I got to live up to this standard of the people around me.
Right. Well, and I think too, for people who are trying to figure out what does that look like to start, like, how do I what is it that I focus on, right? Like, how do I decide what habit, quote unquote, because they may be looking at their life. I don't know about you guys, but like, especially at the beginning of the year, I write down like 20 things, right, that I want to work on and accomplish. And so you might be thinking, how do I know, what thing to work on first? And so I love that you said like basically reverse engineer. And what I like to do is to say, okay, well, kind of prioritize, like in order for certain things to happen, what needs to happen first, right? And so I think if we're thinking about daily habits, maybe picking like one habit in each area of your life. So it could be like, okay, for your health, like what is one habit you could start working on right now? Like maybe, okay, I'm gonna start drinking more water. And so, or maybe it's that 20-minute walk or whatever, right? And then maybe in your business, you're like, man, I do want to be that six-figure earner, or I do want to be at the top of the company, or I do want whatever. What is the one thing that you can add on to your schedule every single day, no matter what, right? What does that IPA look like that would contribute to your end goal? Same thing with your relationships, or whatever it might be. And so I just want to encourage you, if you are struggling with the follow through, because I would say 9 times out of 10, when people, we've worked with thousands of women at this point. So whether it be clients or, past team members that I was developing, so many times, I mean, literally 9 times out of 10, it was just the follow through. It was just the
The
actions.
accountability too.
It was just, yeah, the lack of accountability, the lack of consistent efforts. And that is why we created our membership, the Kingdom Minded Mompreneur, because we saw the struggle of the mom who's like, I want it all. I want to be a present mom. I want to raise kingdom kids. I want to, volunteer. I want to have an impact in the world. And I also want, to hit the top of my company. I want to make six figures. I want to earn the incentive trip. And so it's kind of like, what does that look like every single day? Instead of, oh, let me like burn myself out, sacrifice everything for, a month. And then I never want to pick up another, phone or social media account again. Instead, it's like, okay, what are the actions that really lead to that life that you desire? And so that is why we created our membership, because every single month we provide a daily social media action plan. You have a social media post, you have IPAs, the list of things that you've got to be doing every single day that move the needle and actually produce income in your business. And
Yes.
it's just been a game changer for so many women already. And we want you to get access to it as well, if this is something that you're struggling with.
Yes. If you are not in our community, don't walk, go run to the link in the show notes and join our community, because everything that Becky said, like, it is phenomenal. And to be honest with you, it's so exciting for us to see our clients have wins, because we have something called your daily action plan. So we created this action plan where it gives you exactly what to post every single day on social media. And of course, like, you can tweak it to your personality and your company and all that kind of stuff. But it is so fun for us to be on Facebook, on Instagram, and
Yes.
see our clients, and for those of you who are our clients, like, to see you guys posting and getting great results. Like, we had, people saying, hey, I posted this and I immediately had, people reach out to me to join my team, or I posted this and I immediately got a sale, or somebody who ghosted me finally, got back with me after I posted using what you guys created. And so our action plan, it has a variety of posts about the business opportunity, posts about your products, posts that are meant to be engaging and connecting with people. And so the other part of it too is in our actual Facebook group, we hold you accountable. So every day there is a Facebook post that we do, and it's your accountability post to say like, hey, I showed up on social media today. I did the things that I needed to do. And the growth that people are having is incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's so much fun. And it is based on what is working right now. We provide trending audio, trending hashtags. We also provide, within the action plan, there's a weekly, devotional like Bible study. So for those of you that do have a faith focus and you want to you know, set the intention for your week, we also have goal setting inside of it. It's just a really incredible resource, as well as we have, an incredible coach who is helping us inside the community. Every single week we have Kingdom Coaching, and it is phenomenal. Shay Greenwood, she's incredible. And just, it's a really, really unique, beautiful membership that we're building out. And I just, it's kind of one of those things that I tell people all the time. It's what I wish I had when I was in the industry.
And we forgot to say it's only $47.
Yes,
And all of that
$47
for only $47. You guys, when we first started working together, Becky and I were $3,000 for people to work with us. And we thought of you who, if you were listening to this, we thought of you. And we were like, okay, how can we provide something for the woman who doesn't have that kind of budget, but she wants to grow and she wants accountability and she wants that support and that help. And we said, how can we provide something that allows her to be able to do this? And we made this membership $47 a month. You're not locked into anything, but it's $47 a month to be able to be part of this.
Yes. So to wrap up, if you feel stuck in your business, the first thing I want to encourage you to do is stop focusing on what has happened maybe year after year, month after month, or where you are now. Focus on where it is you want to go and say, do I need to work on one of these three things? Do I need to prioritize my health? Do I need to let go of the opinions of others? Or do I need help with my daily habits? Maybe it's time you joined the Kingdom Minded Mompreneur membership or found some accountability, some kind of external accountability. Create accountability for yourself so that you look back and say, this is the year that I changed it all.
Thanks so much for listening to the Kingdom Minded Mompreneur. If you loved what you heard today, could you stop and give us a 5-star rating and review? It helps our visibility on podcasting platforms so others like you can hear more of this message.
Also, if this episode encouraged you, we would love for you to pass it along to your own biz bestie and anyone else who could benefit. Lastly, don't forget that if you want to hang out with us just a little bit more, join us inside the Kingdom Minded Mompreneur community. Click the link in the show notes. Bye for now.